As the economic fallout from COVID-19 intensifies, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urgently appealing to the international community for financial assistance. Among them, an expansion of the Debt Service Suspension Initiative, DSSI, which allows poorer countries to temporarily stop debt payments during the pandemic. As Kalisha Williams reports, Mr. Holness explained that middle-income countries, like Jamaica, should be able to benefit from the DSSI.
The Debt Service Suspension Initiative was developed in 2020 after the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund realized that poor countries that were struggling to stay afloat during the pandemic would not be able to repay their debt as scheduled. However, as a middle-income country, Jamaica did not qualify for the suspension of debt repayment. At a press briefing with the Prime Minister of Canada and the United Nations Secretary General today, Prime Minister Andrew Holness called for that to change.
While recognizing that many low-income countries are at high risk of debt distress, there are several middle-income countries that are also at risk. Whether they too will fall into distress depends on the depth and duration of the impact of the pandemic. Small island developing states, which are heavily reliant on tourism and remittances, are particularly vulnerable. We therefore call for an expansion of the DSSI to include vulnerable middle-income countries.
And that was not his only request. Mr. Holness further appealed for the initiative to be extended as developing countries are plunged further into an economic crisis created by the pandemic. The initiative, which should have ended on December 31, 2020, was extended to June 2021.
We urge that it be further extended to at least the end of this year and ideally to the end of 2022.
For the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, the pandemic has also created more barriers in securing financial assistance for developing countries because developed countries are looking out for their own people.
So there continues to be this instinct, even around this pandemic, which is undoubtedly a global crisis, a global problem, that people are hunkered down and trying to solve it locally without really understanding that until we solve it globally, there won't be a solving of it locally, not for real.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.